Hello YouTube, my name is Neckbeard Sama and I'll be going over my top 10 favorite web novels. Time codes will be included in the description in case you want to skip along. And if you're into web novels, reviews, or anything else novel related, feel free to subscribe. Initially this was going to be one video, but as I was writing the script it became longer than I intended, so I'm changing this into a two-part series. This one will go over 10 through 6 and part 2 will go over 5 through 1. So like and subscribe if you want part 2. Alright, here we go. Starting out with number 10, Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash. Grimgar holds a special place in my heart because it was the first novel that I'd ever read. The description reads, a group of strangers wake up in a fantasy world with no memory of their past life and are given no other option but to accept the only paying job in this new game-like world, the role of a soldier in the reserve army, and eliminate anything that threatens the peace of this new world, Grimgar. Despite its resemblance to a game, this is no game. There are no redos or respawns. It's kill or be killed. It is now up to this ragtag group of unlikely fighters to survive together in a world where life and death are separated only by a fine line. The thing I love most about this novel is the realism and tension. It isn't like most isekai where the MC is OP or they have some sort of system or some kind of cheat-like ability. There is no plot armor and characters actually die. It's brutal and real. The character development is amongst the team is amazing and you will cry real tears when someone dies. Highly recommended to newbies and oldies alike. Number 9, Reincarnation of the Strongest Sword God. Now this one may have made the list off of just pure nostalgia alone, as it was my first Chinese web novel, and I've read better web novels since, but this one really has a special place in my heart just due to how much time I've spent reading it. Sword God is basically about a guy who plays this game called God's Domain, which is a virtual reality MMO, kind of like Sword Art Online, and the whole premise is he was betrayed and fired by his old guild, which he had spent 10 years breaking his back over. But one day he wakes up and finds himself in the past 10 years ago when the God's Domain first went online. So armed with all this new knowledge of the future, he sets out to monopolize rare spawns, treasures, and recruit experts who have yet to blossom. I know it sounds generic as hell, but it's just so addictive to read. A lot of people in the community call novels like this junk food, which it really is. It really isn't some kind of profound novel that makes you contemplate life, but it's quite an enjoyable read with a whopping 3,693 chapters. I highly recommend it for newbies starting out on this web novel journey, but for you old heads who have read tons of VR MMOs, then this probably won't tickle your fancy. It even has a pretty good manhwa out now, so if you want to read that first to gauge your interest and pick up the novel, that's also an option. Number 8, Infinite Realm Monsters and Legends. The description reads, Zack grew in power and thrived in the post-framework world. He became a respected leader, a shining example of what it meant to be good. But as the world ended, he only had one thought, to punish the monster that had killed the world long before the framework ended. Yet not even with his incredible power was he able to stand against the world ender. His arrival in the new reality, the Infinite Realm, gives him the chance to grow stronger, to find the monster again and make him pay. Ryan, on the other hand, survived the chaos after the arrival of the framework by pushing harder than anyone else. He grew in strength until he became the most powerful being that had ever walked the planet. But he is hated by the world, called a monster by others, and was named the World Eater. As the world ends and he steps into a new one where people stronger than him have lived for centuries, he finds himself lost and without purpose. The only thing that had mattered to him had been lost long ago. He now finds himself wondering if this new reality has a place for someone like him, but he had never been one for lying down and dying without a fight. One world fell to his power and another might follow. I mean, come on, the first time I heard that description, I was super geeked. I've never read a two-protagonist novel before, yet it blew me away. Me personally, I fell in love with Ryan and his story, but always dreaded the Zack chapters. But as the story goes on, Zack becomes a lot more interesting, so if you find him annoying in the beginning, just keep on reading. I love this novel so much, I even subbed to the author's Patreon to read the early access chapters. I highly recommend this for newbies and oldies alike. Although this novel only has 497 chapters, each chapter has a huge word count, so don't worry about the length of the novel, it's pretty meaty still. highly recommended. Number 7, The Stored Demonic Emperor. The description reads, Zul Yifan was a demon emperor. One day he managed to get his hands on an ancient emperor's book, the Nine Serenity's Secret Records. As the book was coveted by many, he was targeted by experts and was even betrayed by his student. After his passing, his soul took over another's body, brought back to life in the body of a family servant named Zulfan. Because of the regrets of the boy, which Zulfan inherited, he was forced to serve the boy's mistress. Watch how Zulfan uses schemes and his demonic wit to lead his failing family to the pinnacle of the continent. Now, this is one of my favorite cultivation novels. I originally read the manga, which was over 400 chapters, and I fell in love with it, so I switched over to the novel, which is even more. It's another one of those junk food novels I mentioned before, where you can just turn your brain off and fly through an easy 80 chapters in one sitting. Tons of face slapping, devious schemes, and extremely shameless protagonists. Zulfan is my ideal protagonist, not some goody two-shoes. He couldn't care less about good or evil. He's only interested in benefits and cultivation. He also isn't swayed by women like most of these other cultivation novel protagonists who only think with their dick. This is a haremless novel. I repeat, this is a haremless cultivation novel. I know it's foreign in this day and age of top tier shitty harem novels, but this one is haremless. Don't worry guys, this one is safe. Back to the recommendation. The side characters are not this novel's strong suit, but Zulfan, he's just so charismatic. He kind of carries this novel, so I can look past the flimsy side characters. Easily recommend for newbies, new to web novels. Old heads may love it if they're looking for a haremless cultivation novel, which is rare, like I said 1,000 times. But yeah, definitely recommend. Number 6, The King's Avatar. The description reads, in the online game Glory, Ye Shu is regarded as a textbook and a top-tier pro player. However, due to a myriad of reasons, he is kicked from the team. After leaving the professional scene, he finds himself working as an internet cafe manager. When Glory launches their 10th fresh server, he starts a new account and starts from square one with the goal of dominating the server and returning to pro play with his own team. Now, this may be the most avant-garde of all the novels I've listed. I have absolutely no interest in esports in real life, so I figured this would be a boring novel, but I was wrong. The novel features character growth not only for Yeshu, but also for teammates and rivals he encounters. Each character has a unique personality and contributes to the overall richness of the story. The King's Avatar has gained popularity for its engaging esports themes, well-developed characters, and exploration of game culture. It's been adapted into various formats, including the animated series and a live-action drama that's available on Netflix right now. But in this instance, I highly recommend you read the novel before you try any of those other renditions, because they leave out so much of the story. If you enjoy a series centered around gaming, esports, and strategic gameplay, I highly recommend The King's Avatar. And that's all for this video. Part 2 will feature my personal top 5 in order and will be released this week. Look forward to more videos centered around web novels like my favorite tropes or why I despise harems. Based on my novels so far, can you predict my top 5 in the comments? But that's all for today. Bye now.